he uses humor, and that's why we all fell in love with Milo. He uses humor to convey his message. And while it's very funny, you know, his impersonation and his jokes have all made us laugh today, this is far from a joke, right? But humor is the way that a lot of us now deal with this, because some of us have had everything taken from us. And the media will tell you that this is just about people who feel like they're being censored on Facebook and Twitter, people who feel like there's discrimination on social media. But I'm here today as a living example, and Milo as well, to tell you that it has gone much further, and the situation at hand is much graver than just a social media ban or social media bias. We are currently living in a country where not only can we as conservative Americans not depend on the GOP establishment to fight back for us, but we are fighting a Democrat Party that has aligned itself with full-blown communists and jihadists who are conducting their very own jihad in the back there to annihilate our free speech rights, to make sure that, quite frankly, we are all sent to what I like to call a digital gulag. And it may seem extreme to you, right? But this is just the first initiative, right? The social media bans, banning people on Facebook, banning people on Instagram, banning people on Twitter, censoring them, sending them to Facebook jail for a few hours to see how far this can go. What American politicians on both sides of the aisle need to wake up and realize, and what President Donald Trump needs to wake up and realize, is that if he doesn't make tech censorship and social media bias the #1 campaign issue in this country, quite frankly, I truly do believe that we will lose our country. You have banking institutions in America that are currently having advisory board meetings deciding whether or not left-wing organizations can come in and tell them whether conservatives can have access to bank accounts. Bank of America is now refusing to do service with companies that are enforcing President Donald Trump's immigration policies. Myself, Joe Biggs, Enrique Tarrio, Martina Marcota, and several others have been banned by Chase Bank and had our accounts suspended temporarily simply because we're conservative. Not only have I been banned by Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, I've been banned by PayPal, GoFundMe, Venmo, Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats, Medium, Teespring, and I'm sure over time I'll probably be banned by other platforms as well. And a lot of you are probably sitting there thinking to yourself, well, how do you get banned from Uber? How do you get banned from Lyft? How do you get banned from Uber Eats? Just by being and existing as a conservative in this country, right? And so while we're here today to demand free speech, I am here to tell you that this is not just about free speech. This is about civil rights. Not only is our free speech under attack, this is a civil rights violation that is taking place against most of the country, right? Because most of the country voted for Donald Trump. Despite what the left wants you to think, most of America supports Donald Trump. I know the left is depending on the illegal alien vote to pull them through this election, but the silent majority, us, all of us who are here today, is who put President Trump in office, and he has a duty to stand up and fight for us, because his biggest offenders, the people who put him in the White House, the people who got him elected, people like myself, people like Milo Yiannopoulos, Roger Stone, Gavin McInnes, right? Alex Jones. We have all been silenced. We have all been silenced and deplatformed. And currently, before everyone's eyes, even though the media has turned a blind eye and has chosen not to report on this and to act as if we are some sort of neo-Nazi, white supremacist, alt-right fringe group, they don't care to report on the nature of this, which is, it's not just a free speech issue, it's a civil rights issue. Yeah! And, you know, there ought to be a lot more people here today. There really are. And I applaud all of you guys who came out today, because you know, in the wake of Antifa threatening to throw acid in the faces of attendees, right? People, you see Antifa is training overseas with members of ISIS, as reported by the FBI, okay? Just last week in Portland, there was a video of members of Antifa chanting Allahu Akbar. This is now the streets of America. Who would have ever thought 10 years ago, walking down the street of America, supporting your president, okay, being a proud American, being a conservative, would sentence you to have acid thrown in your face, to be beaten in the street like conservative journalist Andy Ngo. That is the America we are living in. And if we don't fight back, and if we don't demand that President Trump and politicians, like I said, on both sides of the aisle, because it's despicable that this has now just become a conservative issue. Free speech in this country isn't just for conservatives. It's not just for Democrats. It's for all Americans. It's what makes us American. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution is the thing that separates this country from every other country on this planet. And we must do everything that we can to protect it, you know? And the struggle really is real, what Milo said when he reminded you all of how the GOP is failing us. Well, you know, when I went to Congress, when Jack Dorsey was testifying, when I had all of my social media accounts still, I stood up and I disrupted the congressional hearing, right? And I called Jack Dorsey a liar because he was committing perjury when he was lying to members of Congress on our taxpayer dollars, saying that he doesn't censor and shadow ban conservatives. And I made a personal plea to President Trump, and I said, President Trump, please help us before it is too late, because Jack Dorsey is silencing and censoring and shadow banning conservatives, and this is how the Democrats are planning to steal the election. All right? That was almost a year ago. And now I'm permanently banned, and what do you know? Any of you guys seen the latest Project Veritas exposés? Right? Yeah, we love James O'Keefe. I used to work at Project Veritas. You have executives working at Google, executives working at Facebook, executives working at Twitter, openly talking about how they have a plan to make sure that President Donald Trump is not elected again in 2020. What do you think is going to happen to this country if not only if Republicans don't gain control of the House again, but if we lose the White House? Do you think that the Democrats who are having their donor meetings with these executives from Facebook, people like Jack Dorsey of Twitter, Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg, and the left-leaning, essentially communist executives at Google, do you think that they're going to be too kind once they get into the White House or once they have total control? What do you think is going to happen if already now with President Trump in the White House, this much censorship and deplatforming is taking place? We're done. We're going to lose our country and we're all going to get sent to the gulag, the digital gulag. And if you think that's an exaggeration, well, you need to wake up and realize that the times we're living in now are the times of Nazi Germany. The Holocaust didn't just begin with Jewish people being sent to the gas chambers and the ovens, okay? The Holocaust began by dehumanizing and ostracizing an entire group of the population, okay? By dehumanizing them and committing acts of financial blacklisting, by making lists, you know, the SPLC, CNN, Daily Beast, a lot of these left-wing media operatives, they love to make lists of conservatives, don't they? They love calling us Nazis. They love calling us haters. They love calling us bigots. What do you think that's going to lead to? What do you think it's going to lead to when you have executives at social media companies labeling conservative individuals as dangerous, too dangerous for their platform, while they allow for Antifa, ISIS, Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas to have accounts? People need to wake up and realize how serious this situation is, you guys. We are under attack, and we must do everything in our power to fight back. And you know, the social media summit, it's on July 11th at the White House. And you can see the disconnect from the White House and the American people with regards to the issue of tech censorship when you look at the invitee list. There's not a single person on that list who was invited who has been banned or deplatformed. Not a single person. And so, as White House officials and President Trump and other social media personalities gather on that social media summit, I hope they take a moment of silence or some time to really think about those of us who have sacrificed it all. Those of us who have not only lost our social media accounts, but have lost our livelihood. Those of us who are shut down by our bank accounts. Those of us who literally have to travel with bodyguards when we go out public because we face threats of acid attacks and terrorist threats. You know, I don't want to talk too much about my own personal situation. A lot of you know what has happened to me. But, you know, in April, I filed a lawsuit against Twitter, and that's how I'm fighting back. I'm fighting back with litigation, but it costs a lot of money, and not all people can afford that. I can't even afford it, right? I had to have a crowdfund at freeloomer.com to raise a legal defense. But how we can fight back is demanding accountability from our representatives and demanding that President Trump make tech censorship and social media bias a top campaign priority. Because I'm telling you right now, You know, Milo likes to joke about how I'm always saying that I'm right, but I am, right? I am. I was criticized and lambasted by both the left and the right when I confronted Dorsey in Congress or when I handcuffed myself to Twitter. People said it was too extreme, but look what is happening. You know, an act of peaceful protest is not extreme. What's extreme is completely deplatforming conservatives simply because they support President Donald Trump and have conservative values. What's extreme is walking outside and being afraid to speak your voice and speak up for America and support your president out of fear of getting attacked by Antifa and having acid thrown in your face, right? So I'm calling on President Donald Trump to listen to individuals who truly have been deplatformed, to hear our struggle, and to understand that this isn't just an issue of free speech, it's now a civil rights violation that is taking place against his supporters. And all of you have a duty right now. A lot of you probably have already been banned and shut down, but if you haven't, call your representatives, write letters to the White House. You know, conservatives are constantly making excuses like Milo had said, I'm too busy, I have a job, you know, protesting is for the left. It's now your duty. If you want to live in a free America, if you want to have free speech, if you want Donald Trump to get reelected and you don't want to live under communism, then you have a duty to get out in the street and protest. You have a duty to start fighting back. And you have a duty to demand free speech at any cost and all costs whatsoever. So I just want to say thank you again to all of you who came out here today. Thank you. I love you guys too.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks. Can we get a stop the bias chant going? The bias. Stop the bias. Stop the bias. Stop the bias. Stop the bias.
Stop the bias. Stop the bias. Stop the bias. Stop the bias. Stop the bias.
You guys need to be chanting that until we get what we want, and that's protection to say what we want and do what we want, and, you know, to just freely have our First Amendment rights without fear of being attacked. And so thank you so much. If you would like to continue following my fight against to demand free speech and my fight against the Silicon Valley censors, you can go to freeloomer.com. I just want to say thank you to all of you who have supported me. I don't get to reply to everybody now that I'm banned, but I truly appreciate all of you. I love all of you so much for being here today and for, you know, supporting everybody who has been banned. It truly means a lot to me. So thank you so much.
Way to go, Laura! USA! 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 Y'all are beautiful!